Dante Alighieri, born in 1265 in Florence, is one of the most renowned figures in the history of literature and a central figure in the cultural and intellectual landscape of the late Middle Ages. His exact birth date remains uncertain, though tradition places it under the sign of Gemini. Dante was born into a modestly well-off Florentine family with some political connections, though his early life was marked by the loss of his mother, Bella, when he was still a child. His father, Alighiero di Brilliance, ensured Dante received an excellent education, exposing him to classical Latin authors like Virgil, Ovid, and Cicero, who would heavily influence his literary work. Dante's formative years were also deeply marked by his encounter with Beatrice Portinari, a woman he claimed to have loved from the moment he first saw her at the age of 9. Though their interactions were few and largely platonic, Beatrice became an enduring symbol of divine grace and inspiration in his writings, particularly in Vita Nuova and the Divine Comedy. As a young man, Dante studied rhetoric, philosophy, and theology, likely under the guidance of Brunetto Latini, a notable Florentine intellectual. He married Gemma Donati, a union arranged by his family, and together they had at least 3 children, though his domestic life often took a backseat to his intellectual and public pursuits. Florence during Dante's time was a city rife with political turmoil, divided between the Guelphs, who supported the Pope, and the Ghibellines, who favored the Holy Roman Emperor. Dante initially aligned with the Guelphs, but after their victory, the faction split into the White Guelphs, who opposed papal influence, and the Black Guelphs, who supported it. Dante, a staunch White Guelph, became deeply involved in Florentine politics, serving in various governmental roles, including that of prior, one of the highest offices in the city. However, his political career was short-lived, as the Black Guelphs gained control of Florence in 1302 with the support of Pope Boniface VIII, leading to Dante's exile. Banished from his beloved city under the threat of execution, Dante spent the rest of his life as a wanderer, moving between courts in northern and central Italy, including those of Verona and Ravenna, where he found patronage under powerful families like the Scaligers and the Polentas. Exile profoundly shaped Dante's worldview and infused his works with themes of loss, longing, and the search for divine justice. It was during this period of displacement that Dante began his magnum opus, the Divine Comedy, a monumental epic poem divided into 3 canticles, Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. Written in vernacular Italian, rather than Latin, the poem revolutionized literature by making complex theological and philosophical ideas accessible to a wider audience. Through the allegorical journey of the protagonist, guided first by Virgil and later by Beatrice, Dante explored profound themes such as sin, redemption, and the nature of divine love, while also offering sharp commentary on contemporary politics and individuals he encountered in life. Beyond the Divine Comedy, Dante's other works reveal the breadth of his intellectual pursuits. Vita Nuova blends prose and poetry to recount his love for Beatrice, serving as both a personal testament and an exploration of courtly love. In De Monarchia, he articulated his vision of a universal monarchy as a solution to the discord between church and state, advocating for the separation of temporal and spiritual powers. His unfinished Convivio was an ambitious attempt to provide a philosophical banquet for those unable to access such knowledge due to their lack of Latin literacy, while De Vulgari Eloquentia defended the use of vernacular languages in literature. Dante spent his final years in Ravenna under the patronage of Guido Novello da Polenta, where he completed Paradiso and continued to refine his ideas. He died in 1321, possibly of malaria, and was buried in Ravenna, far from the city he had longed for throughout his exile. Despite his estrangement from Florence, Dante's legacy in his native city and beyond grew exponentially after his death. Today, he is celebrated as the father of the Italian language for his pioneering use of the Tuscan dialect, which became the foundation of modern Italian. His work has influenced countless writers, philosophers, and artists, ensuring his place as a timeless symbol of human creativity, resilience, and the quest for transcendence.